Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to People Perspective and the Pulse, where the mic stays open, the conversation stays real, and the poetry flows naturally. From headache to heartache to healing, headlines to home life, we're talking about it all. All right, welcome. We are your hosts, Adrian Butterfly Flow, and I am your other host, Chamber 7. Uh, you literally just told me don't say other. That's the first thing I did. You should leave that part in there. Welcome to welcome to the Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to People Perspective and the Pulse, where the mic stays open, the conversation stays real, and the poetry flows naturally. From headache to heartache to healing, headlines to home life, we're talking about it all. So let's get into it. I am your host, Chamber 7. This is your host, Adrian Butterfly Flow, and we will be discussing ghosting. Now, a lot of you have heard it several times. I'm going to go ahead and read you what we found from ChatGPT, and then we're just going to have our descriptives of it, and then we'd love to hear your perspectives in the comments below. Ghosting means suddenly cutting off all communication with someone without explanation, especially in a personal or dating relationship. For example, you're texting someone, maybe you've gone a few dates and even been friends for a while, then poof, they stop replying, don't return calls, and disappear without a word. That's ghosting. It can happen in romantic relationships, friendships, even professionally sometimes. It usually leaves the other person confused, wondering what went wrong. So, yeah, I'm glad that the definition was written like that. I'll be honest with you.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I have, and the reason I brought this one up, I actually threw this one in the hat because and by the way, this is all going to be our personal opinions on several things based on years and years of experience. And I have often been accused of ghosting someone
Mm-hmm.
when they didn't seem to give two shits about me anyway. I do change my energy a little bit when I see something different, but I also change my energy when I'm going through something and I withdraw with the need to protect the people around me. And those who sincerely know me know that that's what I'm doing. I'm not really ghosting you. Adrian, what you think? And you can speak on this because you know me better than most people, and you've seen me do it. And you just be like, "Hey, you all right over there?" I'll be like,
Yeah.
"Yup." You be like, "Okay."
Yeah. I'll send you a you good text.
That's all I need. Sometimes, and it's often funny to me because people be so rude.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to talk to nobody no more?
Right. Right.
I think my favorite line from you has always been, this phone works both ways, right?
Yeah. Cause I'll tell you in a minute. If I ain't heard from you, I'll be like, hey, what's good? And then
Yeah.
you'll hit me up. Well, I ain't heard from you. Well,
I mean, but
it worked.
I think it's always been it's always worked very universally with us because it's like, aside from the fact that we think a lot alike, like we don't, I think it's about taking it personal.
Yes. And also I would say it could be, and I don't know this for sure because I do have this with a lot of my military friends. And it could
Hmm.
be because we're both prior military and we know just because we're not talking to someone doesn't mean that we don't miss them, we don't love them, they're not still our friend, they're not, still a part of us. And we know
Hmm.
once we're able to reconnect, get back together and all that good stuff, that
Hmm.
it picks up like nothing ever happened.
Oh
So
yeah, oh
yeah.
yeah. Because I think there have been times when even you and I, because being that we live in two different states,
Yes.
we'll go without talking to each other for months, and then I hit you up with like, "Yo," you be like, "Hey, what's up?" And then we'll get into a 2 hour conversation about some shit. And then,
Yeah.
all right, I'll
Yeah.
talk to you later. And then
Yep.
we won't
About
talk for a
nothing.
couple weeks. Yeah, about nothing. Or hey, I'm making my drive. Chat with me for a minute. And I'll be like, all
Yes.
right, cool. You know what I'm saying? But and people take it so weird. Like I've often been hit in the face with, and I'm not just talking about like in dating situations because this mentions especially in a personal or dating relationship. I'm not just talking about dating relationships. I'm talking about like even friends. I'm talking about even male friends,
Yes.
heterosexual male friendships. And dudes be like, "Oh, you don't know how to talk to anybody no more." I'll be like, "You ain't tried to call me once."
Right. And the first thing, which I think this is more of the issue than the quote unquote ghosting, because sometimes it's not even ghosting because it hasn't been an extended period of time.
Hmm.
It's when somebody hits you with the, oh, you can't text, you can't call me, you ain't, whatever. And you're
Yeah.
like, I'm over here going through it. What do you want?
Yeah. And the worst thing you can do is, I think what has often, and I try my best, I honestly do, but and this is where you and I are insanely similar, is I always like go to the most logical, like when I'm going through the most difficult parts of my life, I strip away all the extraneous stuff. Everything extraneous needs to go. And
Yes.
and it's almost like a survival tactic where you just get down to the basics. And even with my kids, like my son knows, he'll call me and he'll be like, "Hey, Pop, what you doing next week?" And I'll be like, "What do you want?" He'll be like, "Why you ask that?" I'll be like, "Because you wouldn't ask me otherwise. So what do you want? Like, can we just cut straight to the chase?" He doesn't take offense to it because he knows his daddy by now.
Right, right.
But and none of my family or friends that truly know me, but like my mom will talk to me for hours about something. I'll be like, "Lord Jesus, did we say all that just to tell me that you went up the street to the store to get some ice cream?" Like that was a long story with extraneous details I didn't need. But it was for entertainment purposes. There are moments when I want the entertainment, and then there are moments when I need you to just get straight to the point because I've had enough.
Yes, yes. And I will say, I find for me that I get missing after the beginning of the year through maybe the beginning of March.
Mm,
Nobody else notices that. One of my other friends pointed that out to me, and he was like, "Yeah, you change moods, you get into a certain space, and you don't want to talk. I don't post, I don't talk, I don't do anything." And I realized after going, looking, being introspective, trying to figure things out. My father
mm,
passed the end of January in
mm.
2021.
Condolences. Yeah.
So it's the buildup of that, and
Hmm.
then I don't relive his passing. I think I relive the dissociation that I experienced after he passed,
Right. Right.
and nobody knows that because not
Yeah.
many people ask
Hmm.
to see
And
what's
uh,
up.
and in a
So,
lot of cases, it's none of their business.
well, if they're supposed to be a real friend, it is their business. But if you don't ask me, you're not gonna know because I'm not gonna be able to convey that to you because
Volunteer that kind of information. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, because I have a lot of friends that I can talk to for an hour or so, and the most I say is, mm-hmm. Oh,
Hmm.
wow, that's crazy. That's what's up. I try to say something, and then it's like, oh, and then literally, look, I hope they don't see this. Literally was talking to a friend, old friend, last night. They were talking, talking, talking. And I was like, oh yeah, changed my house around. Got my dad's furniture. My mom was gonna get rid of it, and I wanted it in my room. Oh
Hmm.
yeah, that's what's up. Talked about something else. Just started going in about something completely different. I said, oh, okay. This is why I don't talk to you that often, because you don't care about nothing I got to say. I
Yeah.
can say,
Yeah.
and people think I'm their best friend. And
Yeah.
I don't, nothing that I have going on in life.
Nope. And
So
I'll be honest with you, I don't volunteer it.
no, I'll give a little bit just to see what people are gonna do with it. And if they keep going with their narrative, I said, oh, okay, you don't care. Okay, got it.
And I'll let you keep talking. Now, in rare cases, there are those that like, if you are venting or you're going through something, I'm
That's
not gonna
different.
bring up. That's completely different. Yeah, I
Yes.
just want to make that clear. Like I'm not gonna saturate you with what's going on with me.
Right.
And
Right.
I have often, and I don't think people realize it. I get so sick and tired of always feeling like a burden, like at work, at home, um, through past relationships. I get tired of feeling like I am a weight on you. So
Mhm.
it is, and especially as an only child, it is my natural instinct to withdraw because that's what I'm used to doing.
Mhm.
And it's psychologically, I believe that it has a lot to do with when even from an engineering perspective, when there are less moving parts and less things to deal with,
Mm.
I feel more able to sustain what I believe is a level of control.
Yes. And I'm gonna go back to what you just said when you said you how you listen, how you're there for people, and I think that's how people get things mixed up. And as you say, we're very similar
Hmm.
in those ways that we listen to people, we're there for people, and we care for people so
Hmm.
much so that they forget that we might need the same care, so we don't get it.
Yeah. Well,
So
I reject it. I'm not gonna lie. No, no bullshit. And I think that's the truth. And you know this for a fact. What are you talking about? I reject the help primarily because of how. So if I accept somebody's help, right?
mhm.
Accepting their help is a form of vulnerability for me personally. I'm not
Yes,
gonna speak
yes,
for anybody else, but
absolutely.
I believe others would know what I'm talking about. Like, if I'm asking you for help, it's because I've gotten to the edge of my resources, and now I need you as a resource.
Mm.
But my biggest fear is that you then take that vulnerability and throw it right back up in my face.
But we know why well, we know why that's a fear of yours, because it's happened before.
Oh, repeatedly,
Yes, and so
repeatedly.
yeah, and I don't want to tell you just jump out there and do it, because
Hmm.
it could happen again. But I would also say, well, and we've talked about this. Try to
Hmm.
give people the benefit of the doubt, but just like I just said, when I try to interject something and then
Hmm.
it's pushed to the side and they keep talking, if you can or not by that
Right,
point.
right.
So after you've been talking to somebody for a while, or a friend
Hmm.
or family member, like even my family, I can't even tell them anything. And they just are like, oh, okay. And they keep going. Like nothing.
Yep. And
Call for
sometimes,
weeks. They don't check.
yeah. And sometimes so so my mother is one of the people, and she knows this for a fact, so I don't mind saying this openly. She'll be one of the people that'll call me up, and there's a way that she responds in her greeting. I can tell she thinks I've been ghosting her. She'll be like, "Hey, ma, come on now. We just talked a week ago. I know that was a week ago, but this is the same person that in 2 days from that phone call, if I call her back, she's A, not gonna answer the phone,
Hmm.
and B, not gonna call back, and C, I'm gonna call her back and she won't realize that I called her the first time.
Right.
And that's what I often struggle with
Hmm.
is people are so quick to attach the word ghosting to what you're doing.
Right.
And I think I said this to you when we actually started this conversation about this. I feel like it's attached to a level of shaming you for what you've done to them
Yes.
without them taking into consideration what you might be going through.
Absolutely. And I can give you, and it's not even a ghosting example, but it is close enough. So in
Mm-hmm.
the dating realm,
Mm-hmm.
years ago, I used to work at the prison.
Mm-hmm.
So what can you not have at a prison?
Oh, a cell phone.
Besides many other things. Thank you. A
Cell
cell
phone.
phone. Met
100%.
this dude. Apparently, he texts me in the morning. I'm at work, 7 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Phone is in the car because that's where it's supposed to be. So when I tell you, this man, good morning me, said hey, got mad, cussed me out, and stopped talking to me in a day because of his feelings. But if you knew me and you had talked to me before that, you would have known my situation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we talked on a regular basis, you would know how to get in contact with me where I was working at. But I ain't know you. So no, you get the cell phone,
See your cell phone.
and you hadn't called before that day.
Correct.
You had what, Saturday, Sunday? I don't know. I
Mm-hmm.
probably met on the weekend. I'm pretty sure they had more days than that weekday
Right. Right.
to text or whatever. And they
Right.
just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
And that's not. And I don't want it to sound like we're completely discrediting the ideology of ghosting somebody,
Right.
because I will say this to it too. I earnestly believe like there are some people you absolutely positively have to ghost.
Mm-hmm.
like completely and totally cut off all communication. Do not reply. Do not return to sender. Block, delete. Don't discuss anything more. I got exes that I promise you I would pass you in the street and won't even bother giving you the pleasure of a glance. There's no point.
Yes.
Because I'm not going to even so much as give you, and it's not even a payback thing. It's a Gautier moment. You're just somebody I used to know at this point. And there's
That's one
no
of my
sense in me.
favorite songs.
Oh yeah, I love it. And Lord Jesus, if you ever get a chance to listen to the rest of the albums,
Mm.
mind blowing. Like that song was their hit in the States, but if you just like pulled up some of their other stuff, oh
See, now
man,
you.
was genius. He was genius. Like I have a habit of finding a good artist,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd be like, well, if they did this song well, what else they got? I
Right.
really think like they missed the mark not bringing him over here. But I digress. I feel like there are moments when you should ghost, but the only reason I bring this up is because our society is so fixated on this ideology of being able to always be in contact with somebody
Yep.
that we're starting to lack the empathy of those who, though I have all these different forms of communication, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest, you name it, email, cell phone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anybody has a home phone anymore, but like everybody expects to be able to direct text you and get a hold of you one way or another.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean that I have the mental capacity to deal with whatever shit you got to talk about at that moment. Like my job has been stressful. It feels like for the past 20 years I've had a stressful job. Like
Yes.
a mistake could cost somebody their life kind of job. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
much like you, I've been in situations though they don't restrict us from able to use our phones, but I'll be in a manufacturing setting where you either can't hear the phone or I don't want to be in a meeting and the phone goes off. So my phone
Right.
would stay on silent 98% of the time. Like it's on silent right now just because like either I'm on set or I'm filming or I'm in a meeting or I'm on the production floor of a manufacturing facility and the only thing I'm gonna be able to is feel the vibrate. But I had an
Mm-hmm.
ex, man, she used to freak out when she'd be like, well, I don't know who's calling you. And I'd be like, well, why would you need to know? So
Right.
then she came up with this edict of, well, you have to turn it on. And there's more to delve into that, but
Yeah.
and she has some
Which
other
we'll probably
interesting.
get into
Oh
throughout
yeah, eventually
the
I'm fairly certain that will become a part of the subject matter. But like it always bugged me because I kept trying to get her to understand it's not about me hiding something. It's just a matter of like it's been a habit that I've had for close to 20 years, like since I've had a cell phone.
right.
It's usually off. Now you expect me to change it now. The only times I've ever changed my phone number was because a girlfriend made me. I promise you. A girlfriend or no, girlfriend, period.
Okay.
Always.
We're gonna talk. That's gonna be a whole. We need to mark that for a whole nother topic,
That's
as
a good
to
point.
people trying to control your phone, your social
Yeah.
media, you, all of that. That's gonna be a
Or
whole thing. So
or at least the frame of what is the appropriate phone etiquette within the confines of a relationship.
oh, that's gonna be our next
I like that one. Yeah, I
yeah.
would definitely say we need to talk about that because there seems to be a lot of unwritten rules that at my age I don't quite know.
Well, the thing is, and we're gonna get back to ghosting, but I'm gonna say this. The thing is,
Mhm.
who cares about the unwritten rules? You need somebody who matches you where you are and who you are right now. Because if you gotta play by rules, it means you're playing a game. And I don't play no games.
I don't like playing no games, especially
No, I
when it
ain't
comes to
got
my
time for
feelings,
it.
emotions, and vulnerabilities.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
So, and when it comes to ghosting, I'm trying to think, have I ghosted people? I try not to. I ain't gonna hold you. I try not to. And when I say try not to, I let them know, hey, I did. I guess you can kind of say I met somebody a couple weeks ago. We didn't vibe, and I just was like, yeah, I'm not ready.
Hmm.
We're not clicking. This is not what it like after a week, because I knew after a week this wasn't gonna work. So I told him. He kept texting.
Hmm.
I didn't. Like we ain't got nothing else to talk about.
That's why I wanted us to start with the definition
Yes, yes.
because it says, I'm going by what it says here,
Suddenly,
where it
yes.
says the very beginning,
Mm-hmm.
suddenly cutting off all communication with someone without explanation.
Right.
So
Right.
I think there's two parts to that. In my case, people think I cut off all forms of communication, but in my reality, I didn't cut off. I don't cut off forms of communication with somebody.
Right.
You always have the opportunity to call me, but I think people confuse cutting off communication with I have to reach out to you. That's not me cutting off communication.
Right.
You haven't called, you haven't texted, you haven't wrote. I've replied to people who have done me the absolute dirtiest. I got
Mm-hmm.
friends right now that I was friends with this brother for 20 years. If he texts me right now, I would respond,
Right. Right.
but nigga, we ain't gonna like skip into some other shit. We gonna talk about what the fuck happened that we ain't talked in the past 5, 6 years.
Right.
And then on your end, uh, where it says cutting off all communication with someone without explanation. I
Yeah.
think in the examples that you and I have always shared, when you've done that, you
Mm-hmm.
always gave an explanation. And then after that, they still kept trying to reach out to you. No, that's after that, you've already set your boundaries. You
Absolutely.
didn't cut off communication without explanation. You gave them
Right.
an explanation.
And I have once, at least once,
Okay.
with a girlfriend, and that's because she was too much.
Well,
Like,
well, wait. Clarify girlfriend, because in the
well,
world of social media.
a female friend. We were
Okay.
hanging out. We were just friends.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? A whatever.
Cisgender, heterosexual female.
There we go. Yeah.
I did some studying.
There we go. So yeah. So and I call my female friends. I call them my girlfriends. They're my
Hmm.
girlfriends, like the TV
Hmm.
show. One of my girlfriends,
Yep.
and she just wanted to talk every day. And if I didn't talk to her every day, I felt like I was her man, and I was like, girl,
Hmm.
I love you, but not like that. So I had to quit. I had to just, and I was going through stuff. This was a time when I had, this was years ago. I had lost my job. Had just got an apartment, lost my job. I was going through it because I was like, how am I gonna eat? I ain't got time to sit here and listen to you talk about men for hours on end. I don't have that
Right.
kind of energy I
Right.
don't care. I'm trying
Right.
to make it. And you don't care what I got to do. So
Mm-mm.
you're really not my friend. So I don't really need to talk to you for real.
Mm-mm.
So
Mm-mm.
yeah.
And in some cases, and maybe in most of my examples, I try to make it as gender neutral as possible.
Yes.
But I think that this particular facet leans more towards what men in general go through. I'm not saying that women don't go through it, but I
Right.
think it's
Right.
predominantly more men.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of times I feel a lot of pressure for communication from women who are looking to have an exchange with me. But like I said before, I always feel like all you're doing is collecting evidence for later on for you to throw that in my face.
Mm.
And that's why I take it from a movie. One of my favorite lines from this movie, it was a thriller. I'm not gonna go into what it was about, but it was called Anon, and it was super dope. Where Clive Owen says to the main character, he says to her, because she had this whole ideology of keeping a bunch of secrets, and he said, well, why do you need to, what do you have to hide? And she said the most beautiful response I've ever heard, which is exactly how I've always felt but didn't know how to put it into words. She said, I don't have anything to hide, I just don't have anything I want to show you.
Mm.
And sometimes, like, I feel like there are facets of me that I'm not necessarily hiding them. I just don't think it's any of your business yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or ever. There's some things like, how you'll be thinking about something and you haven't quite landed on that being a part of your philosophy, but the second it comes out of your mouth, people think, well, they said this one time and that's how they feel about everything. Not for
Right.
the rest of my life. I might change my mind.
You learn. When you learn better, you learn different. You can change your philosophy about things. Because I don't feel the same way I felt about things even. Well, I'm a Gemini, so 3 minutes ago at the
I
beginning of
was
this
about to say,
conversation.
y'all Geminis, homie, y'all, whoo, good God, have mercy. Look, I'm lucky to still be friends with you this damn long. Good gracious, alive, boy.
And I will say, I did get ghosted. I got ghosted hard. I was I was head over heels with this dude, and I should have known because he would always ask me why. And his favorite thing was like, I ain't nobody. I'm just a little country boy from Texas. I ain't nobody for you to love. I ain't nobody for you. He would always, say things like that. And that should have been my indication of who he was. But I fell for, which is going to be another topic. And then, not today, but I fell for what women fall for you for. So
Okay.
he's a gentleman.
Mm-hmm.
He opened doors. He's very nice, pays for everything. He treated me when we were together
Mm-hmm.
as if we were always going to be together and that I was his person.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But that's just how he is. And every time I would tell him that all men are not like that, he was always baffled because that's who he was.
Right.
So when you hear it, like, what you mean dudes don't do this? What do you mean men don't, open the doors? What do you mean men don't treat you nicely? What do you mean?
And you know what? It's
Yeah.
it's funny you say that because I gotta send it to you. There's actually I need to find it. There was something on Instagram where a psychologist talked about that,
Hmm.
and they said what you've done is you've tricked yourself into believing that that's your person because what they've presented to you is technically supposed to be the bare minimum.
Yes, you sent me that. I just watched that.
Oh yeah,
So
okay.
so it talks about when you're used to getting nothing and then you get the bare minimum, you think that that's everything.
It's the one
And
bottle of water in the desert
yes, it's that Ritz cracker when it was actually a regular old saltine. So and
with
he
no
was
flavor, dry as a piece of cardboard. Yep.
right. And I will say he was one of the first men that I dated after my divorce. So I wasn't in the dating scene, and I was like, oh, this is wonderful. And
Yeah.
then he ghosted me, and then after him, I was like, what is? Where is this place? This
Mm-hmm.
is ghetto.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
How
Yep.
did I get here?
How did I get
But
here?
yeah, so yeah,
And the same thing happens in reverse. And from my stories, I think what happened to me was I was so used to this philosophy of um the happy wife, happy life kind of ideology.
yes,
For the first hell for my first two marriages, it was like that. And then all of a sudden I came to the realization it's supposed to be happy house, happy spouse, happy
absolutely.
house is the way it should be. Um, but I think what happened to me was I started like the love bombing came in the form of somebody who was giving me the same bare minimum, somebody I didn't always have to argue with about certain things, and I was like, oh, wow, this is dope. So you're gonna listen to me on the first try? But they were just doing that in the beginning just to get a hold of me. And then
Yes.
after a while, it changed, but it was because I was accepting the bare minimum
Mm-hmm.
of what a relationship should be like. I shouldn't have to argue with my partner. And the one thing that it's funny how we got to hear from ghosting because I also think that it mentioned in here dating relationship, but I'll go a little bit further. I think it also goes with regards to marital relationships too. You can ghost in a marital relationship, and I'm taking a hard left at Albuquerque with this one because I feel like you can ghost your partner emotionally
Mm.
with certain aspects of who you are and still just be functional in the relationship. Does that make any sense?
Absolutely. Because once you find out that you can't trust them with certain things or certain aspects of you, you withhold that. Yes. So it's,
That's exactly what I meant.
yes.
Because and I think dudes and then women do it too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once
I know I
once
do
you
it.
see, yeah,
I'm a
I know
dude,
for a
but
fact I do
whatever.
it. Because the second I see you move a little funny a certain way, I'm gonna be like, oh, that's what we doing?
Mm,
And it can be something super what you would deem as super simple. I
mm-hmm.
would pick it out. Like if you make one too many assumptions, I'll give you a perfect example. If same thing with the regard to the phone, we're gonna talk about this in the phone etiquette one. Um, you can't get a hold of me. You call or you text me and I didn't respond. You call and the the way you communicate with me in that call that I didn't answer can either be a matter of just light concern, like, hey, what's up? Just want to check on you. Tried to reach you earlier. Or where the fuck you at that you can't answer the phone? The second you get one of those, where the fuck you at, you can't answer the phone, I'm the type of person, I will dig my heels in. I'll throw out the anchor and be like, fuck it, I ain't moving at all. Even if it's for my betterment. Like, hold on, who the hell you talking to? Like, that's a form of disrespect, because how you see me in your head when you don't have any other evidence tells me a lot about your perspective on me. I ain't told you I was doing anything wrong. You don't have any evidence of me doing anything wrong. So why is your first assumption of me is that I'm doing something wrong? And I'll even take it with regard to, like, even employment. Why is it when your boss doesn't see you, they automatically think you fucking off or you doing something else? How do you know I'm not working on the same project? I've had those discussions countless times with bosses. They'd be like, well, what are you doing over there? I said, well, if this and this and this aren't done, how are we going to do this part that we're working on? I'll wait. And then they're like, oh, that's not important right now. No, it's not important right now. But if we don't correct it now, it's going to be important when this whole thing falls apart. And then I have to check them real quick. And then they'll, oh, you think you know everything. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But yeah, that's my take on it, is that I think you just gotta pay very close attention to how people draw perspective. And the same thing along the lines of what we're saying with ghosting. Why would you assume that's what I was doing? Why is it when and you said it to me, why is it when you called or reached out, you didn't say, hey, don't know what's going on, we haven't been in touch, but I just wanted to check on you? And stop. I have 2 text message streams in my phone right now, and both of them are from people that are no longer here anymore. One of them was a guy that worked on my second shift that worked for me, and I've never deleted that stream because it scares me, because it's like he was here one day and we texted, and he was like, I'm just not really feeling away. And I tried to encourage him. And I think, I kid you not, 2 weeks later, he was dead.
Oh, wow.
Committed suicide. And it hurt my heart. And I was like, you never know what somebody's going through. And the last thing I want is for my comments to be the thing that pushes them over the edge.
Right.
That'd be my biggest fear. Hey, all right now. Throw me up there too.
Yes, I noticed that. Look, after we've been talking for 30 minutes, I was like, oh my goodness.
Right? Like, hold on.
Yes.
Somebody missing.
Yes, I was like, I don't have chamber stuff up there. Let me get them up there.
So yeah, anybody who's trying to reach out to us, you can find us at those locations. Please feel free to inbox us. I don't even know if my profile is private. I probably put it on private because of some previous situations I was dealing with. But I'll make it public so people can hit us up. So
okay. Yeah. And and as you were saying, you and I wasn't trying to distract from your story, because that was a very serious story, and it's a very serious thing, that because you don't know what people are going through, and just because somebody ghosted you or stopped communicating with you at the moment, check in with them. Now, if you check in with them 2 or 3 times and there's not been an answer or response, yes, they're probably ghosting you, or they could be in the hospital. Like, I've had instances where people have been in the hospital, things have happened. I'm a therapist. I have clients, and sometimes I think that they're ghosting me. So I start calling. I'll call their emergency contact. I call
just to make sure they're okay,
especially if they have had health issues. And I mean, I've had 2, unfortunately, that passed from their health issues that I had to. You don't know what's going on with people.
Yeah.
And instead of thinking it's you, because when somebody goes, I be like, it ain't me. I don't know what they got going on, but it ain't me. And I'm gonna hit you two, maybe 3 times at the most. I'm not gonna keep on, because I know, you'll get back, or whoever I'm trying to get in contact with, they'll get back when they're ready.
Yeah, when you're ready.
Yeah, and hopefully, and like I say with you, I'll send you you good, and you send me a thumbs up or something. I'm like, that's all I need to know. Know you alive. No, you
That's
are
it.
right. We ain't even gotta talk about it till you
We ain't
ready.
got to talk about it to me when you're ready. And I tell people that straight out. Um, now, admittedly, I will say this. In this social media catacomb that we're in, catacomb is a good one. That's exactly what it feels like sometimes. Um, I've interacted with several people, and I've often told uh, partners that I've had, cisgender, heterosexual male, female partners that I've had, whether it be romantic or friendship, and I will interact. I have a lot of female like friends,
Yeah, yeah.
literally just it, right? But I've got a lot of male friends as well. But I think a lot of that is based on the fact that like I was raised in a predominantly female household. I had my mom and my dad, but like most of my mother's side of the family was who I spent most of my time with when I was younger, and most of them were women.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of the stuff that a lot of dudes normally lean towards to talk about, like, is not a whole lot of interest to me. Like, I don't have sports teams memorized or who's your favorite team. And I'm like, which sport are you talking about, homie? Like, they don't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like fighting. If you want to talk about like somebody getting punched in the face, we can talk MMA all day long.
All day,
So all day, you know what I'm saying? Hey, let's talk about boxing. Let's talk about this, that, and the other. Let's talk about them
cards,
stats
all that. Yeah.
all day long, right? But or cars. I can sit here and we can have an hour long discussion about cars, and then some dudes will get way too deep into it, but like, hold on, slow down there, homie. But I will interact with somebody on social media, right? And I have legitimately noticed like a huge shift. There was one young lady, I purely platonic interaction. Hey, how you doing? I had an interaction with one young lady, and she just was like going through a really bad, rough time. And I happened to notice a post that she had, and I reached out to her. I said, "Yo, you good? Like, I'm not trying to hit on you or nothing. Like, I'm just checking to make sure you're all right." I've done that with men too. Like, sometimes it could just be your sentence that saves somebody.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one young lady I was interacting with, and we were cool, and like, at least I thought we were. And then I don't know what happened. I legitimately have no idea what happened. But I'm at the age now that if I see too much fuck shit and I've made every effort to try to resolve it, I'm out.
Yes.
So we became friends on Facebook. We had one mutual friend. We would call and chat every once in a while, every couple of days. She was recently divorced, but didn't have much to do. She was an empty nester, blah blah blah.
Mm,
And didn't even live anywhere in this state. But we were just like, there was nothing romantic. We ain't made no innuendos to nobody and nothing. And I'm not. And at the time, I wasn't dating anybody.
mm-hmm.
I literally wasn't dating or seeing nobody, nothing.
Right.
And I wasn't attempting to see her because I ain't trying to do that long distance shit. That's a whole other segment. Why I'm not doing the long distance shit again. So then all of a sudden one day she stopped responding to
Mm,
my text. I was like, huh, that's weird. I tried to call, straight to voicemail.
mm,
Checked on Facebook. We're not friends anymore.
mm.
Some people would be like, oh, that's fucked up. Nah, bruh, I don't give a shit. You block me, I'll block you right back. No, she unfriended me and I just blocked her
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not playing this game with you. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the
Yeah.
deal is. I don't know if like you like something happened or like you on the run, but I ain't taking no chances either.
Right. Right. You didn't want no
And I was
parts of
done.
it. So
Mm-mm.
yeah.
When I tell you that same weird scenario has happened, probably, and it's not like, oh, they were catfishing me or anything. I've literally video chatted some of these people and they just disappeared. And I was like, all right, cool. Whatever you got going on, you want me to be a part of it. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Signing out.
I'm out.
I'm
Yes.
out.
Yes. Yeah. So
Not
no,
doing it.
that's what they wanted. Let them have it.
Let them
Don't
have
push
it.
yourself into nobody's life. And so that goes into back to ghosting. And that
Mhm.
was also they had an MTV show about ghosting, like why did you ghost me? And it was about friends and sometimes relationships and why people ghosted them. It was an interesting show. It was hilarious sometimes for the reasons that they got ghosted. It was like, look, it was your religion, it was your politics, it was your this, like the different reasons people got ghosted. They're like,
Oh yeah.
oh my, I didn't realize this. I didn't like once they get told, and sometimes people are embarrassed when they get told why they got ghosted.
Hmm.
So
On
Yeah,
both ends of the spectrum, because I think sometimes you would send me IG posts of the like
the
the
radio
phone.
dating
Yeah,
thing.
that's
Yes,
the one.
yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes. And then you think it's because the person that asked for the phone call was in the right, when the other
Yeah,
person says that wasn't even a date. Like I just met them at the bar and
yeah,
I'm
I do
married.
remember that one. Yeah,
Like I've heard some of the weirdest stuff, but again, I think it's a matter of people's perspectives. And
exactly.
I believe the best way to enter into those interactions is to do so with a level of humility, some form of empathy, and not to always ready, and like you said, giving people the benefit of the doubt, and not to always be so ready to crucify somebody for something they're going through. Like I ain't gonna lie to you, I've been a basket case for the last 2.5 years,
Mm,
all over the place, like age, breakup, financial, career wise. Like I've been hit from every facet of my life. Parental situations, dealing with my kids, my grandbabies, like all that, all at the same time. And some days I legitimately just feel overwhelmed.
hmm.
And one more motherfucking phone conversation is not going to help me.
At all.
Mm-mm,
Especially if the person is calling you for their interest to get what you have for them, not to necessarily check in on you.
mm-mm,
More hey, what you doing? Oh,
mm-mm.
okay. Well, I've been doing sunset and then sunset and sunset. It's 30 minutes and you're just like, why are we here?
Why are we here?
This is not
Or
anything
or
but
it's what I need you to tell me what's going on with you. Yeah, but I don't want to tell you what's going on with me. Well, why not? Because I'm not ready to discuss that. Like
that's right. Not right
I
now.
have, you're asking me to reopen the wound to show you where the broken bone is, and I'm not in the mood for that. Let
Right
it
now.
heal, and I'll
Yeah.
draw you a diagram. But right now, I'm gonna let these pain meds kick it. Like this shoulder has been whooping my ass
Yes.
for
Yeah, you
like
have
eight
said.
months,
Mm,
right? It is just now at the point where I can functionally move it from like repeated massage therapy because I've been trying to avoid the doctor because I didn't want to have surgery and all that other shit. But I'm homeopathic all day long. Um, if I could, I'd get up to see my acupuncturist, but like I only have one person I let stick me with a needle. So, but like my shoulder feels 1,000 times better, and people were like, well, "What's the big deal? It's just a hurt shoulder." I'll be like, "Because that was my functionality, like from everything. It made me feel like, oh my God, is this it? Is this how I'm going to go down?"
right. Right. Because you never
So I
know.
was,
And you don't
yeah,
want to talk about it because as you started laughing, in a way it sounds silly, but like, is it like as we get older, we don't know what is gonna happen. So
mm-mm.
all right, we've gotten a long way from ghosting. So we're gonna end this because we
Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. I would love to hear everybody's perspective. If anybody's got any comments, concerns, questions, complaints, bitches, gripes, moans, please feel free to email, phone conversation, chat with us, carrier pigeon, you name it, smoke signal, we'll take it.
yes. And we'll be back with another episode of People Perspective in the Pulse. Cause
I like
we
that. That's dope.
yeah,
Not bad for the first show either.
yes, yes. So, all righty. Well, I would like to thank everybody for watching, share, comment, send us messages. If you don't like us, change the channel. You don't have to leave derogatory comments because yeah,
We
you
right back.
can leave derogatory comments because as a therapist, I'm just gonna read you for what you said because that most times if you find something bad and everything you see is a reflection of you, not me. So
Facts.
So leave your comments, ask your questions. Let's get into it. Moving forward with People, Perspective, and the Pulse. So yeah, so this is Adrian Butterfly Flow and
I am Chamber 7.
and we are signing off and we'll see you next time. Thank you again for watching People, Perspective, and the Pulse. Reminding you to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, bring a friend, and let's do it again. Thank you again. Bye.